This video is brought to you by Squarespace. What would be the safest Mario game to literally live at? Let's figure that out by going through all the mainline games, and focusing on safety and survival tools at our disposal, as well as how much effort it would be to live. So with that, let's get her ranked. 20. Super Mario Land. We've got some pyramids, palm trees, and sand. It doesn't sound too bad though. Well, unless you get thirsty, that'll probably happen. There are a few sources for water, of course, but you have to travel pretty far to get there. And what's in the way? Koopas that literally explode. Yes, dangerous bombs that are just walking around minding their own business. Yeah, no thank you, walking bombs are about as unsafe as it gets. 19. Bowser's Fury. You start with your head stuck in the mud and it's pouring rain outside. Not the greatest first impression, but maybe things will get better once. Oh god, Fury Bowser's here, and now there's pegs falling from the sky. Yeah, this entire place is incredibly dangerous. And to top it off, every 10 minutes, Fury Bowser just comes back for some reason, and you risk burning to a crisp every single time, and you still have to deal with the pouring rain. Not only does this sound miserable, but very unsafe. 18. Super Mario Land 2. I don't know how many of you know this, but everything that you see in this entire game is actually owned by Mario himself. Yes, this private island is literally called Mario Land, which sounds great on paper. Ooh, I want to live on a private island. But since he was busy saving Daisy in the previous game, Wario's taken over the island and basically destroyed the entire infrastructure. If Mario can afford an entire island, but not security guards to prevent that from happening when he's gone, do you really think it's considered a safe place to live? Exactly. 17. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. The Flower Kingdom is no safer than the Mushroom Kingdom. In fact, it's kind of worse. The main culprit is the game's best feature, Wonder Flowers. They seem fine at first glance, but frickin' Bowser can just show up and take one without any sort of repercussions and ruin everything. Like, would you really want to stay here? Look at how terrified the Poplins are. Some of them are trapped in their own homes on house arrest. Not so wonderful after all, huh? 16. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Right off the bat, we appear to live in the world's smallest castle. I mean, seriously, how tall is it, like 30 feet or something? Mario is half the width of the door, and if Mario is around 5 feet tall, well, we get a good idea of how big the living quarters are. But at least it's somewhere to live, because that's the least of our problems. What's there to eat around here? Yep. Mushrooms. This is our only food source, so I hope you like mushrooms because there's nothing else beyond that. But honestly, it's not realistic to only survive on mushrooms, seeing as 1 cup of them has only 15 calories and not many nutrients beyond that. That's not to say they aren't bad for supplementing your diet, but we're not going to survive for very long on just mushrooms. So, okay, I guess we'll see what else is around. Oh, cool, a poison mushroom. Well, that can't be good for us. I guess we'll have to travel to another place and look for better food. The only problem with that is that our journey to finding another food source is pretty dangerous. There's tons of enemies to avoid. We have to survive castles filled with fire and lava. Ugh. Just overall, this isn't looking very safe. And to think our only energy source is a small handful of mushrooms, even if we were to survive the jumps and the enemies, we're gonna die of starvation because there's not enough calories in them. 15. Super Mario Bros. Well, it appears that we don't live anywhere now. Unless Mario's house is behind us and we just can't see it. It seems like the only home is with Peach once we rescue her. Just like with the Lost Levels, our food sources are pretty minuscule. But at the very least, there's no poison mushrooms. And the journey to actually get to Peach isn't as bad. At least getting access to water is easier, and we can take warp pipes to get to Peach pretty quickly. But even with all that, there's still not much to work with. I mean, I guess there's technically fire, since we can be Fire Mario. That could be helpful. Which means I guess we could set up bonfires using our fireballs, and then catch some Cheeps or something and roast them over the fire. So at least we've got that going for us. But this world is still pretty dangerous, and is going to require a lot of effort to survive. Probably not worth staying here. 14. Super Mario 3D Land. Of all the games, this is the one where I actually can't tell if we're safe or not. When you're not in a level, we appear to just be walking around in Limbo Land. Like, yeah, some of the worlds have backgrounds, I guess, but we're stuck on this line. It seems like the safest course of action would be to just, stay in Peach's castle, but who knows if we're even allowed to stay there when Peach isn't present. We do get some decent power-ups though. The Tanuki suit and boomerang flower are fine, although we don't get proper flying with the Tanuki since that would break the game completely, so that's out of the question. But hey, at least we get some binoculars, because that'll really help us route out which way to go since the world is so obviously linear. Look, the fact that our only way to live is to walk in a straight line or be in danger sounds kind of awful. 13. New Super Mario Bros. Our food opportunity hasn't changed much, but at least we can grow really big and be invincible for a little bit. There's also cannons that you may think we can just take to get around easier, but do you think you'd actually survive the cannon blast? Look, we're not built like Mario. The force of that cannon launching us into the air at such insane speeds with no sort of parachute or protection would probably kill us from the sheer amount of G-forces we feel running through our bodies. So that option isn't going to work very well. At least the pipes in the older games are safer to some extent, so that means we have to travel a pretty long way to get to Peach. 12. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Again, things have not gotten much better. It kind of just comes down to the power-ups. And this time we have the propeller mushroom, which, hey, it sounds like that could be helpful since you can just fly at your own will. But let's just closely look at how fast you have to spin to do this. When was the last time that you tried spinning in a circle? Seriously, try it right now. Aren't you getting dizzy after like 5 seconds? And we're not even spinning that fast. Like, get someone to look at you while you spin. Look, you're not spinning as fast as you think you are. But look at how fast Mario spins. In fact, I did the math, and this suit makes us spin approximately 6 times per second. If you spin in place right now, you might get, 1 or 2 spins per second? Imagine going 3 times as fast and accelerating into the air. Yeah, you would be so disoriented and dazed that this suit wouldn't even be that useful. The only suit that makes things safer is the penguin suit. You can slide on your belly to get around faster and launch ice balls to freeze enemies. But even so, it's still a long journey ahead of you, and the cannons would be too dangerous to use again. 11. New Super Mario Bros. 2. The circumstances are pretty similar to the other games, but with one big advantage. Well, I guess kind of two. First off, we have the Tanuki tail, so we can easily fly around. This will make getting to safe places and avoiding danger a little bit easier, assuming we can keep our balance and actually get used to flying. And second, we could potentially destroy the economy with our money. Gold Mario can create illegal money out of blocks, and if there's a place to spend it, then we could be unfathomably rich. But that's the catch. What do all the coins go towards? The answer is, probably nothing, because there's nothing to buy. But you can technically max out your lives, but does that really matter? Realistically, it's not really worth comparing this factor in any of the games, seeing as you can abuse this concept in all of them, because if we play our cards right, we're immortal in a sense. So because of that, having a lot of coins isn't that helpful, and it doesn't really make things safer. 10. New Super Mario Bros. U. Out of all the new Soup titles, this is probably the best bet at safety. The Acorn suit still gives us flying capabilities, but it's much more calm and manageable. You don't shoot into the air too fast. You can glide a bit and even slowly fall down. So all that is great. Fast travel still won't do much, however, because the pipes shoot you through the sky, so good luck surviving that. But at the very least, alternate exits give us much safer and better alternatives. I'd much rather hop atop these poles to get to World 5 than a cannon that'll probably kill me the second I'm launched out of it. Just weighing my options here, you know what I'm saying? 9. Super Mario 3D World. How fun. We got a bunch of fireworks next to the castle. Oh, life is good. But of course, we have no choice but to travel through a pipe and end up in a world not as safe. Mario, you f***ing idiot, you should have let them die. Who cares about the prixy sprixy princesses? If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that our access to water is a lot better. Even in the first level, there's a ton of it just right here. Now, yes, it might be a little bit dirty from the sand, but that's nothing some boiling can't fix. We also have the cat suit, so we can climb to safe areas. And the Mega Mushroom returns, so we can be invincible for a little bit. So there's some options we could do to survive for a minute. It's still not ideal to having actual housing, but when it comes to pure survival, this is probably the first game where we could be somewhat comfortable. 8. Super Mario 64. We get the entire castle to ourselves. Immediately, we're making big strides in safety precautions. It may be kind of empty and only filled with toads that just stand around doing nothing, but no harm will come our way. Well, I guess there's technically flames in the basement you can touch if you're an idiot, but look at all this free water. There's even crystal clear waterfall water that I imagine is super clean to drink. The only problem is just the isolation. Besides Mips and the occasional toad, there's nobody else here. You'd have to jump into a painting for some excitement, but that'd also be dangerous and unnecessary. And the only way to get Mips in the castle is to put yourself in danger and get 16 stars, so you likely won't be seeing them. And I also guess there isn't much food, although you could probably eat the birds or something. I'm sure we could find food somewhere. 7. Super Mario Galaxy 2. We end up on Starship Mario, and this is an alright place to live. There might not be much to do here, but at least water is easy to get, and you can also fly pretty much anywhere you want. There's even a mail toad that somehow gets mail. Okay, how the heck does that even work logistically? We're floating in space away from everything. Can Mail Toad bring us food? I doubt it. But hey, you know what? We can just fly to somewhere with food. And that's our only problem, is that most available galaxies are dangerous, so you have to risk your life for sustenance. 6. Super Mario World. You start in Yoshi's house, which is already a good start. Although admittedly, all you really got is a mailbox and a fireplace. But let's just think about it for a second. A mailbox in a normal world where Amazon exists means we can get mail. And that means we can order food and water and survive as long as we want to. And hey, if we need money, just get a bunch of coins by clearing the easy levels next to us. There you go. It's a perfect scenario. Well, except for the fact that our house has no walls or real protection from the outside. But we can get mail and order whatever we want, so that's huge. 5. Super Mario Odyssey. Assuming that we managed to survive Bowser knocking us off his ship, we actually got a pretty decent lifestyle with a little bit of work. To get to the good kingdoms, we'll need to get a few power moons to power up our ship. But once our ship is rocking and we can go anywhere, we're kind of set. The highlight with Mario Odyssey is just the amount of diverse locations we can go to. The Metro Kingdom is a big sprawling city with tons of things to do and see, and we can even go to the movies. The Luncheon Kingdom, there's more food than we could ever eat in one sitting. Then there's the Seaside Kingdom. It's got a few dangerous enemies here and there, but for the most part, it's a beautiful beach resort. If you can get the power moons, you get a pretty good reward in the end with so many diverse places to visit. 4. Super Mario Galaxy. Things are looking great now. The Comet Observatory is a really interesting and diverse place to just kinda hang out. And not even just that, but there's a lot to do. You can fly around for the fun of it. Rosalina reads bedtime stories when you're trying to sleep. There's a kitchen. Oh my god, we can actually cook properly. And there's even a library if you want to read some books and relax. And look at the stunning bedroom we get to sleep in. Look at how nice and luxurious it is. And to top it all off, it's impossible to fall and die. The observatory will always save you. Look, I would definitely live here. That's all I'm saying. 3. Super Mario Bros. 3. It's hard to judge this game on safety protocol because it's well known that the entire thing is just a stage play. And if that's really the case, is there actually any danger at all? The game opens on a curtain revealing the stage. Blocks are bolted into the background, and you exit on stage right. Heck, to get one of the warp whistles, you have to go behind the set pieces. I mean, how much more evidence do we really need here? The only danger, I guess, is that it would be kind of tiring to run around for a long period of time, but that's about it. And I imagine that, since this is actually a stage, you secretly take breaks, you've got intermissions to freshen up, so this is almost as safe as it gets. 2. Super Mario Sunshine. Just look at Delfino Plaza. Could we possibly be in a safer environment? I mean, we're surrounded by water. The locals are selling fresh food to us every day, and it's always beautiful outside. Now, it's not like this at first. We'll have to work a little bit to get rid of the goop and stuff, but it's totally worth it in this case. Get a few shines here and there, clean up some goopy stuff, and then you're basically set for the rest of your life. Everyone's really friendly, you got this cool-ass water pack to play with. I mean, damn, life's good here. 1. Super Mario Bros. 2. Maybe this one's kind of an obvious pick, but whatever's happening in the game doesn't matter even one tiny bit. And that's because, surprise, surprise, the entire game's a dream. Yep, it literally does not matter what happens in the game, because none of it is real anyway. Being in a dream that doesn't exist is about as safe as you can possibly be, considering your physical body isn't there. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to top that. You're pretty safe in a dream. Add Squarespace. They're the best and most powerful place to create the slickest websites. New to Squarespace is the Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system that makes it even easier to make a website. There's also Squarespace extensions that connects your store to a vetted third-party tool to extend functionality, and the analytics page makes it easy to see who's visiting your site and where people are coming from. Last year, I put together a website for my YouTube series Bandy's Universe, and I'm still keeping it up to date because of how easy it is to manage and organize the content. So with that, go to squarespace.com/Nathaniel to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The link is in the description. And there you have it, all the most dangerous and safest places to live. The more I think about this, the more awesome it would be if I could actually go to some of these places. And with how the future is headed with AI and technology and VR and all that crap, anything's possible. Who knows what'll happen? But with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next year. Got some weird videos coming up next year. Be ready.